suit for specific performance would be that this flat for which I had entered into an agreement, it should be completed and conveyance should be made in my favor. And similarly, if the builder has to file a suit for a specific performance, his suit will not be that I should be paid the money for this works contract, but his suit would be that I should be paid the price of the flat which I have constructed. But this, the Supreme Court, according to me, has not dealt this issue in detail, and this was the most important aspect. Then there are certain other issues also which have been left unanswered. We all know that all the dealers under the VAT, whether he is a contractor or not, they have the option to adopt either the cash method or the mercantile method. Now supposing a builder has adopted a cash method of accounting, and thereafter he enters into an agreement, during the construction he enters into an agreement with a prospective buyer, and proportionate share of land is also to be handed over to the flat owner. Then the question arises, the payment which he is receiving, is he entitled to adjust that payment firstly towards the cost of land, or it is to be adjusted proportionately? Another issue, that supposing this agreement is cancelled, agreement with the prospective buyer, the Supreme Court says that once the builder enters into an agreement with the prospective buyer, from the date he enters into an agreement, he is to be regarded as a works contractor and he would be liable to pay tax. Supposing this agreement is cancelled, and after retaining part of the amount, which is generally 10%, he refunds that amount to that prospective buyer, will he be entitled to claim refund of the amount which he may have paid under the VAT? If he is adopting mercantile method, even then maybe that in the same building there are 100 flats, how to compute the work out the liability? Because with one prospective buyer, he may have entered into the agreement before the commencement of the construction. With another, he may have entered into the agreement after the flat has been completed but building has not been completed. With third, he may have entered into an agreement where only a part of the flat has been constructed. Although I find that your Rule 22, one of the Rule 22A.
The question is, sir, very limited. जो भी जजमेंट्स हैं वो इस बात के हैं कि सर्विस टैक्स भी लगेगा और वैट भी लगेगा. हम बिल्डर कॉन्सेप्ट से और कंसल्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट से सोचते हैं. अगर सर्विस टैक्स को चैलेंज किया, सर्विस टैक्स की वैलिड अपहेल्ड कर दी कोर्ट ने. वैट को चैलेंज किया, वैट की लेवी अपहेल्ड कर दी कोर्ट ने. बट अभी तक ऐसा कोई डिसीजन नहीं आया जहां पर वैट और सर्विस टैक्स को दोनों को साथ में चैलेंज किया है. सर एक मिनट,
L&T के अंदर इन्होंने कहा, even in L&T also they have said.
Just a minute. मैं
भारत
संचार यही मैं कह रहा हूँ. That is what I am pointing out. अभी तक जो भी डिसीजंस आए और बिल्डर्स एसोसिएशन भी जो भी है वो वैट भी देकर खुश है और सर्विस टैक्स भी देकर खुश है. दिक्कत ये है, जो क्वेरी का पर्पस है, वैट भी देने को बिल्डर्स तैयार है, सर्विस टैक्स भी देने को तैयार है, क्योंकि दोनों डिपार्टमेंट से कोई झगड़ा नहीं चाहता. लेकिन अल्टीमेट सफरर कौन है?
कंज्यूमर है. ही हैज टू पे.
कंज्यूमर के बेसिस पे कोई ने ये लेवी को चैलेंज नहीं किया. भारत संचार निगम का जजमेंट जो 145 STC है, उसने क्लियरली ये हेल्ड किया था कि ओनली वन लेवी. सर उसमें डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन हो सकते हैं और उसमें ओवरलैपिंग इश्यूज हमारा नेक्स्ट सेशन का बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है. बट इट इज वन पॉइंट. सेकेंड पॉइंट, मूविंग ऑन टू नाउ महावीर स्वामी जी, बिकॉज उससे पहले जो अकाउंटिंग की बात भाटिया साहब ने कही, कैश अकाउंटिंग और मर्केंटाइल अकाउंटिंग और स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस से रिलेटेड, मैं सुनील जी गोयल साहब से भी निवेदन करूंगा 2 मिनट इस पे कमेंट करें. और अशोक जी अग्रवाल इंडस्ट्री के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव बैठे हुए हैं यहां पर. हमने तीनों कॉन्सेप्ट को डिस्कस कर लिया, टैक्सेबिलिटी को डिस्कस कर लिया, टैक्सेबिलिटी के इनपुट क्रेडिट को भी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. बट द प्रोविजन ऑफ टैक्सेस, इनको हमको डिस्कस करना है. और इंडस्ट्री का क्या व्यू पॉइंट है, मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि टैक्सेस के ऊपर आपकी इंडस्ट्री क्या कहती है, ये एक बार आप शॉर्ट में.
जैसा आपने बताया कि बिल्डर्स सर्विस टैक्स भी देने के लिए तत्पर है और वेट भी देने को तत्पर है. ये उसकी मजबूरी है. जो भी डिपार्टमेंट आता है उसकी मजबूरी है, मुस्कुराते उसको देना पड़ता है. भले सरकार माने नहीं माने, ये टैक्स जनता पे पड़ता है, कस्टमर पे पड़ता है. लेकिन टैक्सेशन के संबंध में अपन समझ रहे हैं कि एक तरफ आप उसको सेल मान रहे हैं, प्रॉपर्टी को सेल मान रहे हैं, और एक तरफ उसको गुड्स के रूप में उसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मान रहे हैं। दोनों में भिन्नताएं हैं। मेरा मानना है आपकी एसोसिएशन बहुत मजबूत है, दोनों में से एक चीज सरकार को ले लेना चाहिए, या तो सर्विस टैक्स ले ले या वेट ले ले। तीसरी बात, इसमें स्टैम्प ड्यूटी ले रहे हैं, एक तो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी में स्टैम्प ड्यूटी ले रहे हैं लोग, फिर उसको वेट के रूप में ले रहे हैं, फिर सर्विस टैक्स के रूप में ले रहे हैं। तीनों में से एक चीज सरकार तय करे, तीनों में से सही चीज क्या है? सर्विस मान रहे हैं, इसको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मान रहे हैं, या ट्रांसफर प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट में डील कर रहे हैं?
That is right, sir. That is what I wanted to come out from the discussion. और सुनील जी गोयल साहब से मैं रिक्वेस्ट
नहीं, इससे पहले एक दो इशू मेरे हो रहे हैं। अब भी क्या राजस्थान सरकार ने एक स्टैम्प एंड रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट में अमेंडमेंट किया है, उसमें ये क्या, कंपनी और फर्म अगर कोई भी एग्रीगेट चैलेंज खरीदती है तो जो डीएलसी रेट है वो उसके लिए 1.5 गुना हो जाएगी। यानी एक्चुअल ट्रांजेक्शन तो हमारा हो रहा है 100 रुपए में, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी दे रहे हैं हम 150 रुपए पर। बायर और सेलर पर क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा ये हम लोग समझना चाहेंगे आप लोगों से, जो एक्सपर्ट यहाँ बैठे हैं, वो उस पर टैक्स किस पे दे रहे हैं, परचेजर को कितना देगा और सेलर कितना देगा। एक्चुअल ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं हो रहा है, क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट ने ये कह दिया कि आपको डीएलसी 1.5 गुना मानते हुए स्टैम्प ड्यूटी देनी है, और डॉक्यूमेंट पर रजिस्ट्रेशन उससे ज्यादा होगा, तो उसका क्या इफेक्ट पड़ेगा ये समझना चाह रहे हैं हम लोग। जी जी।
और पहले मैं अकाउंट्स पॉइंट पे सुनील जी गोयल साहब से और फिर डायरेक्टली महावीर स्वामी साहब से वो स्टैम्प से रिलेटेड जो प्रोविजन है उसको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए और वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और इनके एग्रीमेंट में टैक्सेबिलिटी के लिए रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा।
अकाउंटिंग में जहां तक इशू का सवाल है, कैश बेसिस ऑफ अकाउंटिंग और मर्केंटाइल बेसिस दोनों ही एक्सेप्टेड बेसिस हैं, दोनों ही परमिटेड हैं। अब चूंकि सर्विस टैक्स के अंदर भी थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट्स आ गई है कि बियॉन्ड ए सर्टेन लिमिट अगर टर्नओवर है तो आपको अक्रूवल पे जाना पड़ेगा। कंपनी लॉ खाली अक्रूवल को अलाउ करता है अपने को, तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली और जो बड़े जैसे कि जिस इंडस्ट्री की हम बात कर रहे हैं उनके टर्नओवर लेवल देखते हुए कैश बेसिस ऑफ अकाउंटिंग बहुत ज्यादा रिलेवेंट नहीं बचेगा, क्योंकि इन ऑल प्रैक्टिकल पर्पजेज, चाहे वो फर्म हो, चाहे वो इंडिविजुअल हो, चाहे वो कंपनी हो, उसको लॉ के कारण से या मतलब नेसेसिटी ऑफ द टर्नओवर को देखते हुए एक्रूवल पे ही जाना पड़ेगा। बट जो भी अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम है वेल एक्सेप्टेड नॉर्म्स है, अगर वो कैश पे करना चाहते हैं फिर भी तो टैक्सेस को ऑन पेड बेसिस रिकॉग्नाइज करना पड़ेगा अपने उसके अंदर।
Exactly, sir. That is I wanted to address. Cash accounting is nearly impossible for a builder. Nearly impossible
for the builder.
Impossible for the builder.
More particularly, advocates and chartered accountants. Advocates no service tax, but chartered accountant service tax is there. We account for on cash basis, pay service tax on actual basis.
महावीर स्वामी साहब, माइक प्लीज पास ऑन दो।
Clarify कर दूं आप?
हाँ सर, हाँ सर।
Neither in BSNL nor in L&T aspect theory has altogether been ruled out. What the courts say that same composite transaction may have sale aspect, may have a service aspect also. And so far as the state is concerned, state is empowered to levy VAT or sales tax on the sale of goods part of their transaction, and so far as union is concerned, they can levy service tax on the labor and services, etc. What is the problem? The problem which is arising is, yes, the problem which is arising is on account of the measure of levy. In law we know that there is a distinction between levy and measure for the levy. And this problem is arising because of this measure for the levy, that we say that for purposes of VAT, we will say that this is the, so far as VAT is concerned, there is no problem. Value of the goods at the time of incorporation is to be regarded as the value of goods for purposes of levy of VAT. But so far as service tax is concerned, when they grant you only standard deduction, then this problem of overlapping arises.
Basic point is, for the VAT authorities, the cost of material is different, and for the service tax authorities, the cost of material is different. So two departments, how can they take cost of material of the same project differently? So that is a point of challenge which we would like to have been addressed by the court.
Even income tax may take a different value of cost. You don't be surprised on that.
So for all the delegates, it is important that when you calculate the cost of material, it is different for different tax and not a uniform pattern. Now Mahavir Swamiji, that is what I wanted to come out from the discussions.
पंकज जी, ये जो सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है उसके लिए मैं आपको बता दूं, ये सब मार्केट वैल्यू का कंसेप्ट जब से लागू हुआ, जब से ये प्रॉब्लम्स आई है, सबको दिक्कत आई है। तो मार्केट वैल्यू का कंसेप्ट के बारे में बता दो, ये लागू हुआ था 82 में। 82 तक तो कंसिडरेशन पे स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगती थी, जो डॉक्यूमेंट ने मेंशन कर दिया उसी पे स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगती थी। उस टाइम तो इसका फॉर्म जो स्टैंप ड्यूटी है वो वही था। अब टैक्स बन गया है, एक तरह से ये टैक्स के रूप में हो गया और गवर्नमेंट इसको सोर्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू के रूप में ले लिया इसको। और जब से मार्केट वैल्यू का कंसेप्ट लागू हुआ, जब से ये दिक्कत आई है, गवर्नमेंट ने इसको सोर्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू मान लिया और ये बढ़ाती रहती है। तो उसके लिए मार्केट वैल्यू को असेसमेंट का क्या तरीका है, ये अभी अच्छी तरह ये डेवलप नहीं हुआ है। डीएलसी रेट सबके कंसेप्ट में है कि डीएलसी रेट लागू होती है मार्केट वैल्यू। डीएलसी रेट का फॉर्मूला बार बार चेंज होता रहा है। जैसे 82 में ये मार्केट वैल्यू का कंसेप्ट आया, पहले ये माना जाएगा मार्केट वैल्यू किसको माने, फिर उसमें 3 क्राइटेरिया थे। एक तो इंडेक्स वैल्यू, हर डॉक्यूमेंट की एक इंडेक्स बनती है एरिया वाइज, उसमें जो वैल्यू आती है वो इंडेक्स वैल्यू या डीएलसी रेट, डीएलसी जो कलेक्टर की अध्यक्षता में कमेटी बनी है उसके द्वारा डिसाइडेड रेट, या आईजी द्वारा निर्धारित रेट। इनमें से विच एवर इज हायर वो स्टैंप ड्यूटी के पर्पज से मार्केट वैल्यू मानी जाती थी। अब बाद में ये आया, एक कमेटी बनाई गवर्नमेंट ने रिफॉर्म्स वाली, तो उसने ये सजेस्ट किया कि डिस्क्रिप्शन खत्म होना चाहिए और केवल डीएलसी को ही मान्यता दी जानी चाहिए मार्केट वैल्यू पर्पस के लिए। तो डीएलसी के लिए अभी वापस चेंज कर दिया इस बजट में। डीएलसी का फार्मूला, डीएलसी जो रेट तय करती है वो एरिया वाइज तय करती है, तो हर कैटेगरी के लिए तय करती थी। अब केवल डीएलसी 3 कैटेगरी के लिए रेट तय करती है, एक कॉमर्शियल, रेजिडेंशियल और एग्रीकल्चर।
स्वामी साहब, मेरा इसमें एक छोटा सा इंटरप्शन है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, मेरा प्लॉट जो क्वेरी है वो ये है, मेरा प्लॉट बिड़ला ऑडिटोरियम के बाजू में है और बिड़ला ऑडिटोरियम एक बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है और मेरा प्लॉट जो है वो एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है। उसकी जब मैं रजिस्ट्री कराऊंगा तो एग्रीकल्चर लैंड की रजिस्ट्री होगी कि इंडस्ट्रियल लैंड की रजिस्ट्री होगी? अभी जो नए प्रोविजन अमेंड हुए हैं उसमें
नहीं, अभी जो अमेंड हुआ है वो 3 कैटेगरी तो डीएलसी को दे दी इन्होंने। भाई जो कलेक्टर की अध्यक्षता में जो डीएलसी तय करती है वो 3 कैटेगरी तो वो तय करती है, एग्रीकल्चर रेट, कॉमर्शियल रेट और रेजिडेंशियल रेट। ये 3 कैटेगरी, बाकी कैटेगरीज के रेट तय करने का अधिकार गवर्नमेंट को दे दिया। तो
मेरा क्वेश्चन है,
अच्छा, गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, पर्सन टू पर्सन कर दिया। उन्होंने क्या, अगर कोई कंपनी खरीदती है, इंस्टीट्यूशन खरीदता है तो ये रेट लगेगी 1.5 गुना, जैसे आपने बताया 1.5 गुना लगेगी। और इंडिविजुअल के बारे में तो वो रेट्स वही है जो डीएलसी।
अभी कुछ मेरे को बताया प्रोविजन में विसिनिटी एरिया भी कर दिया कि अगर इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया के विसिनिटी में 1-आधा किलोमीटर में लैंड है।
हाँ, तो वो अदर कैटेगरीज की जो गवर्नमेंट ने रेट तय करी है उसमें इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए रेट तय किए, वो उसमें किया है कि एक तो 5 किलोमीटर रिको एरिया में है तो रिको की रेट लगेगी और 5 किलोमीटर से बाहर है तो एग्रीकल्चर का 1.5 गुना वो उस टाइम।
तो अगर एग्रीकल्चर लैंड रिको इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया के बाजू में भी है,
हाँ,
तो उस पर रिको इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया की लैंड रेट
5 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा, 5 किलोमीटर तो
अंदर में ना सर,
5 किलोमीटर तक तो रिको की रेट लगेगी।
वही मैं कह रहा हूं।
हाँ।
तो रिको इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया खत्म जहां होता है उससे एडजॉइनिंग अगर मेरी लैंड है एग्रीकल्चर और मैं बेचता हूं तो एग्रीकल्चर लैंड रेट नहीं लग के रिको की रेट। दैट इज द पॉइंट आई वांटेड टू मेक कि ये जो लॉ में अमेंडमेंट हुआ है स्टैंप ड्यूटी में, ये इतना ड्रास्टिक अमेंडमेंट हुआ है। आप अपनी एग्रीकल्चर लैंड बेचो और ये सोचकर बेचो कि एग्रीकल्चर की लैंड लगेगी, रेट लगेगी स्टैंप। अब स्टैंप ड्यूटी अगर रिको की रेट लगेगी तो उस पे इनकम टैक्स का एस्पेक्ट, रिको की रेट लगेगी क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चर लैंड की रेट होती है 1 लाख रुपए बीघा और रिको की रेट हो गई 5,000 रुपए स्क्वायर मीटर। तो इट हैड मल्टीप्लाइड इन इन्यूमरेबल नंबर। नाउ इट वुड हैव, हो सकता है मेरा कंसिडरेशन उसे कम हो, ज्यादा हो, कम हो और इनकम टैक्स उस पर ज्यादा बन जाए। इस पॉइंट पे मैं आपको वापस लाऊंगा, ये चीज मैं पॉइंट आउट करना चाह रहा था स्टैंप ड्यूटी के पर्पस।
जो अभी जो चेंजेस हुआ है उसमें मार्केट वैल्यू की डेफिनेशन ही चेंज कर दी। एक्ट में पहले मार्केट वैल्यू की डेफिनेशन थी कि जो ओपन मार्केट में जो सेलर और परचेजर के बीच जो खरीद सकते हैं उस वैल्यू पर वो प्लस कंसिडरेशन विच एवर इज हायर था। अभी इन्होंने मार्केट वैल्यू की डेफिनेशन लास्ट बजट में अमेंड करके उसको चेंज कर दिया है। उन्होंने जो रूल 58 के तहत प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी द्वारा जो रेट तय की जाती है वो मार्केट वैल्यू होगी, और कंसिडरेशन आएगा तो विच एवर इज हायर। प्रेस्क्राइब्ड अथॉरिटी है डीएलसी, 3 रेट्स के लिए तो डीएलसी, बाकी कैटेगरीज के लिए जैसे फार्म हाउस है, मैरिज गार्डन है, माइंस की है, इनके लिए गवर्नमेंट ने अलग से रेट तय कर दिए।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू स्वामी साहब। पाटकर साहब वुड लाइक शॉर्टली, वेरी शॉर्टली सर, to add one more thing and then we would be moving to the income tax aspect of this query and some additional queries by Mr. Prawal.
सिर्फ थोड़ी इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है आपको कि आप लोग एलएनटी जजमेंट कर रहे हैं। एलएनटी के साथ और 2 थे, एक महाराष्ट्र चेंबर ऑफ हाउसिंग इंडस्ट्रीज और दूसरी बिल्डर्स एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया। अच्छा, बिल्डर्स एसोसिएशन का जो लास्ट रिट पिटिशन था एसएलपी थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, उसमें गवर्नमेंट ने ये एलएनटी या एमसीएचआई का जजमेंट के हिसाब से वहां रूल्स अमेंड किए महाराष्ट्र में, वो अभी चैलेंज हो गए। वो महाराष्ट्र क्रेडा और बिल्डर्स एसोसिएशन ने चैलेंज किए, तो अब उसके 12 जनवरी को हियरिंग है। अभी उसमें एक ही है कि आपके स्टेट्स में कैसे, लेकिन बंबई में रीडेवलपमेंट का काम बहुत चलता है, तो वो हिसाब से क्या हुआ है कि जो रीडेवलपमेंट में फ्री दिया जाता है।
साहब हमारे यहाँ रीडेवलपमेंट नहीं है।
2 मिनट, 2 मिनट।
हमारे यहाँ बैरन लैंड ही बहुत अवेलेबल है और आधा से ज्यादा जयपुर हमारे अशोक जी के पास है। तो इसलिए हम रीडेवलपमेंट से मूव करते हुए नाउ वी वुड बी मूविंग टू द इनकम टैक्स क्वेरी पार्ट ऑन दिस थिंग सर। थैंक यू, थैंक यू। ऑन
एक बहुत जनरल क्वेरीज जो सब यहाँ पार्टिसिपेंट्स के हैं, हर एक के पास कोई ना कोई ओनर डेवलपर के एग्रीमेंट्स होते रहते हैं। सो जो बहुत पर्टिनेंट इशू अराइज हो रहा है, जहाँ पे ओनर और डेवलपर का एग्रीमेंट है, डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट है, so far as taxability in the hands of owner is concerned, where there is a exchange of a license is given to a developer by the owner to enter the land and then construct the multi-storied flats, and then the flats are shared. So in that context, the issue which arises basically is what is the point of taxation in case of such type of development agreement. That is the first issue. The second issue is, in such case, apart from the certain flats which is given, certain compensation is also given. Say compensation of rupees 5 lakhs per month is given for 24 months, which is the period of construction of the flats, so that the owner is compensated for his displacement and he has to search for accommodation, alternate accommodation, for which he is also to pay the rent. So what would be the situation of taxability in that case? And thirdly, whether any planning aspect can be considered if the owner converts it to stock in trade. So at what point of time the taxation would shift? So all these issues for the benefit of the participants. First I request VP Gupta Sahab to address it, and then supplemented by Sunil ji and Podar sir. ये ले लीजिए।
हो गया आप बोलना शुरू कीजिए।
Hello. See, on this particular aspect regarding development agreements with the owners, I have written an article which is there in the souvenir on page 134. This is a very complex issue, that at what stage the capital gain is chargeable in the hands of the owner when he is having an agreement with the developer. The courts at different times, in case of different agreements, have taken a different view. In certain cases, it has been held that as soon as the possession of the land is given by the owner to the developer for the purpose of carrying out the development, the transfer has taken place and capital gain will be chargeable. In certain other cases, it has been held that no, not at that stage, it will be only when the construction is completed and the flat has been given to the landowner by the developer. Now, why these two views have been taken by the courts in different situations? Primarily, the courts have gone on the basis of the language of the agreements and the actual facts, how much the development work has been done or not done. So these two things are very important.
Because for the purpose of transfer under the Income Tax Act, Section 247, one of the clause 5, in the normal connotation, the transfer will take place only when there is the actual sale or exchange or transfer. But in this case, there is no actual sale at that stage, at the first stage generally by and large. Then the concept, there is a deeming transfer if the Section 53A of Transfer of Property Act applies. The Section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act applies on a case when the possession has been given and substantially consideration has also been received or will be received, and the developer has, other person, buyer, has done something pursuant to the agreement. So these are the contents of the Section 53A on the basis of which the courts have tried to interpret the agreement and the facts, actual facts on that basis. So by and large, I can say the case law are mentioned in the article. You may go through the article. I have mentioned the case law of both the sides. But by and large, the concept is that what is the agreement, that is number one. If the agreement say provides that land will be handed over to the developer, he will carry on the work on that, and the rights are also given to the developer to further sell to the prospective buyers and all that. And by and large, if some consideration is also fixed substantially, which the developer has to, there can be two types of agreement. For example, in the one agreement, say 50% of the built-up area is to be given to the owner. Say in another case, only the minor 5% or 10% of the built-up area is given to the landowner, and 90% goes to the developer. And in consideration of 90%, say for example 5 crore consideration is there, which the developer has to pay to the landowner. So in this sort of circumstances, the courts will take a view that when you have given a full possession of the land to the developer, he is entitled to develop 90%, keep 90% of the developed area with him, only 10% will be coming to the landowner, and he has to pay consideration for 90% to the landowner. In this sort of circumstances, the court have taken a view that substantially there is a transfer at the stage of entering into agreement and giving a possession on that cases. Say, take another case in which it is not 90%, it is only say 50%, for example, and in that case, the agreement, only after the agreement is developed, possession is given only for the purpose of carrying out the development work, which will be in the name of the landowner, obviously. So he will not be fully entitled and he will not be having the full rights in the land. So difference in the two situations, the courts on the basis of different agreements have gone in a different manner. In certain cases they have said it is transferred at the first stage, in the other cases the court has said that it is a transfer at the subsequent stage. So by and large, as a matter of principle, nothing can be said as such that what stage the transfer will take place. So it will depend upon the terms of the agreement, which are very important, what the terms of the agreement are, and on that basis the courts have tried to interpret in the case of the each facts and all that. Now coming to the another part of the question, what will be the consideration and whether the compensation paid for the accommodation etc. will be taken. That is again a disputed issue, that what is the consideration in such cases. By and large, it is a case of exchange, where the build-up area is given by the landowner. If there is a money consideration given, then there is no dispute, obviously. The money consideration will be the consideration for this. But if there is a built-up area is given by the developer in consideration of the transfer of the land rights by the landowner, then in that case, this is a case of exchange. And case of exchange, the cost of the or fair market value of the built-up area will be the consideration which the landowner will be deemed to have received, and that will be the value on which the capital gain will be chargeable. Now connected with this, now section 50C says that deeming value will be taken the notified rates. So in a way, in case of development agreements, the 50C can be applied to solve the difficulty of determination of the capital gain also. Because if the 50C provides a particular rate, in any case, 50C will apply. So that is the determinating factor on the basis of which consideration can be decided, and the landowner can compute the capital gain on the basis of this rate provided in 50C of the Act. Taking the clue from 50C, one can also plan the agreement etc. in such a way that if the funds position or the terms of the agreement can be made in that way, the transfer takes place at the first stage itself when the agreement is. That will be helpful in certain cases. for the reason that one is the controversy can be avoided, because department normally says that there is a transfer at the first stage, whereas the landowner will say transfer at the second stage. If we adopt the 50C rate at the first stage itself and make the agreement in such a manner that this will take place, then transfer will be there. So it can avoid that litigation and controversy in that regard. Another thing is the rate may be different, notified rate may be different in the first year when the agreement is there, as compared to the rate when the development will be completed.
Thus, the
So-
basic proposition is
Yes.
that in such cases of development agreement, the moment the agreement is entered, one should adopt the DLC rate or whatever is the fair value of the rate and pay the capital gain tax at that point of time. So that is a better proposition. But suppose he also receives some amount as a compensation, so whether that part would be added or that would be a part of the overall fair market value which we have adopted at the time of...
No, you see, that will be part of the consideration. Even if the compensation is given for the accommodation, etc., there is a part of the compensation. There is a method of making the payment of the compensation. So total value has to be determined, and when 50C is adopted, that can be taken
And
care of.
then
Yes.
suppose he gets flats, he is given say 10 flats out of his share of the total consideration. So how he would be claiming the benefit of section 54 or 54F as the case may be? So now there is an amendment, it is only one flat, earlier it was a flat. But considering the size of family and all that, he wants to occupy 3-4 flats on the same floor or first floor or second floor, make it one. So what are the propositions which you can suggest to the participants here? In
See,
that regard?
again, that is again a litigation issue, that whether the 2 flats or 3 flats will constitute a one house or it will be have 3 houses. So courts have again the case have taken a different view in different circumstances. When the adjacent flats are there and it is possible to combine them
Basically
as
with
one.
the present amendment to the law, you can address with the present amendment.
You see, the amendment in the law, where earlier the word was A, now they have made one. But I think that still it can be contended one house, if when there are 2 flats or 3 flats are there, they can be combined in one house also. I think that that position can still be claimed in the same manner as it has been earlier. This is not meant.
Podar Sahib, if can throw some more light on this issue.
So far this issue is concerned, to be precise और simple तरीके की बात करने के लिए वीपी गुप्ता साहब ने जो भी आपको बताया कि 134 पेज के ऊपर में इनका एक आर्टिकल है, उसके अंदर सारे केस लॉज इन्होंने डिस्कस किए हैं. He has thrown light on the special bench decision, on the other criminal decision, High Court decision and Supreme Court decision. So let us not go in that detail of the decisions which are there, which you can go through, and we are grateful to organizers having published this article in the Savonia. Please go through that. The point is very simple to my mind. As soon as the agreement is entered, if you all remember, who were present in Bombay most probably, and thereafter at one more place, we had a detailed discussion on this issue of real estate development, builders' income, or the person giving his land, sharing the land. And then, if I remember correctly, CM Mr. Kincha had made out a very detailed study of drafting of the agreement. And complete session was there for more than 1 hour on drafting of the agreement. And he mentioned that, which I would like to repeat, that the drafting of the agreement basically depends कि आपको किस तरह से कब टैक्स लगना चाहिए. That is the whole issue. I will just give you one example. I think we are running short of time. I will just give you one example. Recently, हमने एक एग्रीमेंट ड्राफ्ट किया, करवाया किसी के लिए. उस ड्राफ्टिंग में हमने ये कहा कि लैंड की वैल्यू द डे आई इंटर इनटू द एग्रीमेंट, लैंड वैल्यू जो कि रजिस्ट्री की वैल्यू थी, दिस वाज द लैंड वैल्यू, एंड आई एम ट्रांसफरिंग दिस लैंड, डीम ट्रांसफर 247, आई एम ट्रांसफरिंग दिस लैंड टू द बिल्डर फॉर कंस्ट्रक्शन, एंड आई पे कैपिटल गेन ऑन दैट अमाउंट of the transfer. So my capital gain matter is over. Thereafter, I am getting say 4 flats. I'm getting 4 flats. Until unless I sell them, no liability of capital gain or the business profit arises. That is another controversy. We can discuss that later on, not right now. Now the question arises that whether 54F will be applicable to me or not. The capital gain on the land which I am paying, that amount is being also invested in the construction of the house, residential house. I keep 1 flat. So that capital gain is invested in that, so 54F should be available. And I should not pay any capital gain on that, the sale of the land even. And the question arises when I sell. In most of the cases, so far the builders, so far the landowners are concerned, in most of the cases, this is the experience, that they don't dispose of the entire thing. If they got 4 flats, they will dispose of 2 flats or 3 flats. At least 1 flat he will be keeping. So he can get that benefit. Precisely to say, it will all depend upon the drafting of the agreement, and for that purpose I will suggest, if you can lay your hand on the article which you have published, it was quite a detailed article. There were 2 articles, one by Mr. Kincha and another by Mr. Motiwala on this issue. And they were really good articles. If you lay your hand on that, it will explain the things in detail. And this article itself.
We would like, because we are running short of time now, we would just like to interrupt you and say sorry. And because we have only last 10 minutes. So I would be moving from all the speakers, and I would be asking them to sum up in just 1.5 minutes each. Anything. And then I would request Shri Shivram Sahab to sum up the proceedings in 3 minutes. So I would be starting from Bhatia Sahab first, Mahavir Swami Sahab, just to 1.5 minutes each, sir.
पंकज जी, ये जो अभी डेवलपर एग्रीमेंट की बात चल रही थी, तो मैं आपको बता दूं, बॉम्बे में हो सकता है अलग प्रावधान हो, यहाँ स्टैंप ड्यूटी का जो प्रावधान अभी चेंज किया है इन्होंने। पहले 97 में जब डेवलपर एग्रीमेंट को शामिल किया था शेड्यूल में, उस टाइम लैंड वैल्यू की 1% स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगती थी। फिर बाद में 2012 में अमेंडमेंट करके फाइनेंस एक्ट में उसको 5% कर दिया था। तो काफी लोगों ने उसको हेजिटेट किया, इन्होंने बिल्डर्स एसोसिएशन ने रिप्रेजेंट किया गवर्नमेंट को, और तो गवर्नमेंट ने उसको कंसीडर किया है और वापस चेंज कर दिया। उन्होंने 1% कर दिया था उसको नोटिफिकेशन से। अभी उसको वापस 2014 में जो एक नोटिफिकेशन 14 जुलाई 14 का निकला है, उसमें 2 कैटेगरी कर दी। वैल्यूएशन के पर्पस से, स्टैंप ड्यूटी के पर्पस से 2 कैटेगरी कर दी, जहां बिल्डर का कोई हिस्सा नहीं है, केवल डेवलपर एग्रीमेंट है, तो वहां लैंड वैल्यू का 1% स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी। मगर जहां डेवलप्ड प्रॉपर्टी में डेवलपर का हिस्सा है, तो उस हिस्से के प्रोपोर्शन से लैंड वैल्यू पर तो 2% स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी, और रिमेनिंग जो हिस्सा है उस पर 1% स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी। ये अभी चेंज किया है यहाँ राजस्थान गवर्नमेंट ने।
स्वामी साहब का बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंटर है, लास्ट पॉइंटर, कि लैंड डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट, अब साहब ये वेटेबल है कि नहीं? जो 1% लगेगा या 2% लगेगा, इसको फाइनल सेल में एडजस्ट करेंगे? नहीं कर पाएंगे।
नहीं।
तो बिल्डर बेचारा, अगर आपने डेवलपर बिल्डर को दे दिया और उसमें आपने 50% राइट रखा, तो 50% ऑफ द लैंड पर 2% स्टैंप ड्यूटी लग गई। तो आप जब भी, जो पोदार साहब कह रहे थे, एग्रीमेंट बनाते समय खाली बेचने का मत सोचो, टैक्स को भी सोचो। नेक्स्ट भाटिया साहब।
स्वामी साहब के लिए ही एक और इश्यू है इसमें, जहां पे ओनर अपनी लैंड को कंट्रीब्यूट करता है फर्म में इन विच ही बिकम्स ए पार्टनर, तो उस समय क्या रेट ऑफ स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी ऑन कंट्रीब्यूशन फॉर द पार्टिसिपेंट्स बेनिफिट?
पहले ऐसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, पहले तो फिक्स स्टैंप ड्यूटी थी।
but
अभी लेटेस्ट इन्होंने जो 2013 में चेंज किया पार्टनरशिप में, तो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी में अगर हिस्सा है तो उसकी वैल्यू पर स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी,
नॉर्मल वैल्यू पे।
हाँ।
देयर इज नो कंसेशन।
वो कंसेशन इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी का अगर
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है प्रकाश जी, दिस इज फॉर द पार्टिसिपेंट्स, कि आप कोई भी एसेट कंट्रीब्यूट कर देते हैं अगर पार्टनरशिप में, देन फुल स्टैंप ड्यूटी इज एप्लीकेबल। वो बाद में बात करेंगे। नाउ भाटिया साहब।
Sir, this issue of overlapping of VAT and service tax, this is a reason, only for the reason that the courts have drawn a distinction between the levy and buyer for the levy. And we hope that with the introduction of GST, this issue of overlapping would be over. Thank you.
थैंक यू वाडिया साहब. पोदार साहब.
90 seconds. There is a query that Haryana Industrial Area.
Real talk time show on live ZTV. We are webcasting this event, sir, live all over the world. So it is a real 90 seconds.
Yes. That Haryana Industrial Area has allotted a land. Now their value is 8,000. Now I am selling that for 10,000, but the stamp value is 16,000. Now the question is that what should be done? The first question is that whether this Haryana Industrial Development Area is transferring the land to you or giving it on lease. As I understand, so far the Jharkhand is concerned or Odisha is concerned, they give the land on lease. If they give the land on lease, then 50C is not applicable. Presuming for a minute that it is not lease. In that case, according to me, the matter should be referred to the valuation officer and a valuation should be ascertained. Because if the Haryana government, the industrial development area is giving it for 8,000 rupees, there must be some logic behind it. There must be some reason behind it. And if that is the reason, the question of putting 16,000 rupees by the stamp duty officer or the state government, according to me, is defective. And there is again an article, I would like to thank Mr. Ghia on that issue. There is an article on section 50C, which very vividly and in detail deal with this matter. And has mentioned number of case laws on this issue, special bench decision of the ITAT, Supreme Court decision, and High Court decision. Kindly go through that, and that will enlighten you on the subject. But you must make a distinction whether it is a lease or it is a transfer of property.
Sir,
Thank you
even
very
if
much.
it is a long-term lease, say 50 years, 60 years, 99 years, still 50C would not apply?
According to me not, it is a very disputable point. We have disputed it and we have won
But
it.
what the participants should
30
take
years,
a call.
30 years case I have won already in the tribunal.
Definite yes or no?
What the
Yes.
call should take, the participants should
Yes,
take a call.
yes. According to me, if it is on lease, it is on lease, it is not a transfer.
Whether it is of 99 years also.
99, generally the government gives 99.
Yes.
I have given the lease of Ranchi Club land for 99 years with 2 renewals and we are not paying 50C on that.
सुनील गोयल साहब, अब मैं सर लास्ट में आपको एज ए इंडस्ट्री रिप्रेजेंटेटिव लूंगा, लास्ट में एक बार एक्सपर्ट्स को लेंगे.
After hearing all these things, two issues which I just wanted to summarize. One thing was there will be divergence in the income accounting and the tax accounting, in the tax payment, which is irreversible and unreconcilable and an unfortunate state. Perhaps every time we talk about the convergence of the tax laws and accounting laws, we hope that the time comes. Final take on this development agreement is that this taxing of development agreement, the land taxing at the signing of the agreement level can be useful tool as well sometime, and it can be nuisance also sometime. It needs to be very carefully planned, looking to the particular facts, circumstances and capacity of each and every landowner, at what point of time he want to pay tax, whether he has the cash flow to pay the tax, what planning he want to make for the further revenues, because once you pay the tax at the signing of the development level, all the flats which you sell, and presumably within 3 years of that, they all will become short term. And at that point of time, it may not be considered advisable for some and maybe advisable for someone. So these all facts should be taken into consideration, and drafting of the development agreement should be done very, very carefully.
The essence is drafting. Sunil Goyal Sahab says drafting is the key for all future disputes. Ashok Chandak Sahab.
Taking the clue from drafting itself, even in the context of service tax also, the drafting of agreement is going to be a very important issue. Reason being, as we have discussed earlier, whether it is a works contract or a construction of a complex, this is an issue, and abatement goes on changing. If the land value by and large, and as a matter of a thumb rule, is going to exceed more than 1/3 of the total consideration, it is better to bifurcate the agreement make a sale of a land and thereafter enter into an agreement from the service tax point of view, so that in spite of the fact that you are paying a tax on 40% of the balance agreement, your tax liability will still be lesser, and that would also be helpful in some cases under the VAT also. Therefore, the development agreement, taking into account the entire consideration and the consideration of a land and consideration of a construction, etc., may be drafted properly.
Shri VP Gupta Sahab. So we started from the legal disputes, the present, and now we had moved on at the fag end of this session to the drafting. Gupta Sahab.
See, as I have explained earlier, all these three development agreements have become very complex issue, and drafting obviously is very important, as I also emphasized. Now, apart from this, when we are seeing the real estate transactions, we are having the problems in VAT, we are having in service tax, we are having in income tax. So what I will suggest that through AFTP or somewhere we should make a detailed representation and take with the government that all these problems should be sorted out. Otherwise, we are going in the litigation and problems are not being sorted out at any level.
Thank you, sir. Patkar Sahab.
Indivisible contracts and composite contracts. Now, in most of the cases, we are using these terms as interchangeably. However, so far as these development contracts are concerned, they are now deemed to be divisible contracts. सर्विस टैक्स भी लग जाएगा, वैट भी लग जाएगा. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने वैट कैसा लगेगा वो बताया है आपको. अब उसमें इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में प्रॉब्लम आएंगे. आप जरा बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट की जजमेंट के थोड़ा वेट करो. मेरे हिसाब से, क्योंकि हमारे महाराष्ट्र में सब असेसमेंट ही बंद कर दिए, क्योंकि उनको असेसमेंट कैसा करना वही पता नहीं चल रहा है. तो दे आर ऑल्सो वेटिंग फॉर दिस बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट जजमेंट. वापिस जाएंगे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, देखेंगे.
Thank you, sir. But before I move to Shri Ashok Agarwal, sir, our other moderator, Shri Prakash Purwala, renowned chartered accountant, expert on tax laws, and a luminary in himself. So I would take this opportunity to ask him to speak for 2 minutes also on this subject.
Friends, this real estate transactions are so innumerable in numbers and so dicey that each issue has to be examined in detail. We have in the last session a brain trust session. So you can have your queries. This is the initial discussion. Those queries can be put before the brain trustees, and you can get a positive, definite answer in the brain trust. With this, I think...
I would now request Shri Ashok Agarwal Sahab to put an industry view now.
रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में अभी जो नया प्रोविजन किया है इन्होंने कि अगर कोई प्रॉपर्टी बेचेंगे तो डीएलसी रेट से इसको इनकम टैक्स की कैलकुलेशन किया जाता है. मेरा मानना है अब रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर अब कमोडिटी रूप में आ गया है, इसको डीएलसी से मुक्त कर देना चाहिए, डीएलसी के प्रतिबद्ध से बाहर निकाल देना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो स्टॉक इन ट्रेड है. प्रॉपर्टी के बाद कम रेट में हम लोग डीएलसी से बेचते हैं, तब भी हमको इनकम टैक्स पूरा देना पड़ता है. तो मेरे इस मंच के माध्यम से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप स्ट्रॉन्ग रिकमेंडेशन सरकार को भेजें कि रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में जो इन्वॉल्व लोग हैं, चाहे बिल्डर हो चाहे डेवलपर हो, उस पर डीएलसी की प्रतिबंध हटा दें तत्काल प्रभाव से. दूसरी बात मेरा एक और रिक्वेस्ट है, जैसे कंपनी से कई बार एक दिन के लिए हम लोग कैश ले लेते हैं या चेक ले लेते हैं एक दिन के लिए, भले कंपनी में सारे शेयर होल्डर हम खुद हैं, कंपनी के डायरेक्टर भी खुद हैं, तो उसको डीम्ड डिविडेंड मानते हैं. इस पर भी आपका विरोध होना चाहिए और आपका विरोध स्ट्रांग वहां भेजना चाहिए आपको. तीसरी बात जो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है डीएलसी के बारे में ही, जो भी राजस्थान में किया है कि कंपनी और एग्रीकल्चर के बारे में जो 1.5 गुना डीएलसी पर कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं, उस पर इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट से रिक्वेस्ट करके या भारत सरकार से रिक्वेस्ट करके जो एक्चुअल ट्रांजैक्शन है उसी पर ही टैक्स लिया जाए तो उचित रहेगा. थैंक यू.
Half a minute. 18th and 19th April we are having a conference at Darjeeling, Queen of Hills, in Eastern Zone. In that I promise you to have a seminar on drafting, a detailed seminar on the drafting, because that has become the cue of the entire thing. So please come there, attend that, and you will be enlightened.
मैं अशोक अग्रवाल साहब से खाली एंड में शिवराम साहब को देते हुए पहले अशोक अग्रवाल साहब से कहूंगा, सर क्रेडिट ओडार हमारे साथ हमारे एक्सपर्टाइज को यूज करेगी, हम बहुत बढ़िया कॉन्फ्रेंसेस और आपकी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, बट आप हमारे साथ हमारी आगे की कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में भी रेगुलर जुड़ते रहिए, हम आपको इससे बढ़िया सॉल्यूशन देते रहेंगे।
दिल से जुड़े हुए हैं और हमें खुशी होती है आप साथ बढ़ते हुए।
Thank you. Now the chairman of the session, Dr. Shivram, I would request him to sum up in 4 minutes time,
Yes,
sir.
very good. Okay, thank you, Pankaj. In fact, we had a very nice interactive session. Let me share with you only 1 or 2 points because before I say concluding remark, of course, all of you must be aware that the transfer definition is concerned that Bombay High Court, Chaturbuj Kapadia, that is the 2 city ITR 491, Mr. Gupta ji must have referred in this, transfer is concerned. On that basis, once you hand over the possession, you are whatever issued consideration or not, you are liable to tax. Now the issue comes many times, that many times what happens that the landowner is an innocent person. He is, suppose you may be having the small land. Of course, builder says that all right, I will give the flat after 5 years. And the gentleman, as a layman, he says, I will hand over the possession to you, I will give the power of attorney gives, and agreement, no revocation clause will be there. When the assessment comes, that poor person, the income tax department say that you pay the capital gain tax. The one who has given the possession, he said, I have not received the money, but they have received after 5 years flat. What I will do? But still the department said you have to pay the tax on because you handed over the possession and your capital gain accrues to you. This is one point. Of course, all of you stated that the drafting agreement, possibly not only drafting agreement, knowing the general law also very important. That is what I mentioned earlier. General law means agreements, Stamp Act, TP Act, and of course today I have seen all these, your VAT and this. Possibly we have to be very careful on that. Agreement may have to go through all the consultants, not with one consultant, taxation. Then I possibly may be able to do some justice to this. Then I think Gupta ji stated that compensation is concerned. Let me share with you. Compensation 2 parts. One is suppose if you are having the flat in the old building and then the flat is entire land is given to the builder. He said, all right, it may take 5 years for me for construction. I will give the one more flat to you. Meantime, you move to some other place and I will pay compensation in of the rent for compensation for your inconvenience. And that money is not taxable because that is not a compensation for your transferring the right. That is a compensation you are giving for inconvenience to him because for that possibly that is the one of you which you have taken, then that is not taxable at all. That is the one point is concerned. Otherwise, whether flat is concerned, whether in kind or money, everything is taxable as soon as entered agreement is concerned. Yes. Yes, sorry. Another thing that of course the conversion stock in trade. I think there is judgment of Mumbai Tribunal is there. That is 24 SOT 288. That is that is the Bright Star. When you convert stock in trade into capital asset, there is no provision like 45(2). That law is very clear as of today. That is the judgment on that. Then of course somebody referred that they suppose avoid what to do. Somebody say that all right, he may piecemeal transfer. Agreement is all right, I am having 100 acres, you pay me 10 lakh rupees today, I will pay 1 acre. Then your capital gain go on transferring to year basis, then that all these transfer one will not come. Now, recently I think that of course, possibly Gupta, you must not have opportunity to go through the judgment of, that recently 4 judgment has come only on dealing with the transfer. You may look at one is, Hyderabad Tribunal B. Rajamallu. You are referred? Okay, fine. There, that is what is the part performance, that is put IT online only. Then there is also judgment, Madras, these who are Mumbai Tribunal Devan Anand, that also I don't know whether you referred it. That also dealing with, that mere power of attorney will not amount to transfer. So these are all the things which you may have to consider and then you may have to take the call. Now one of gentlemen, I think Mr. Shyam Sundar, is he here in the audience? He asked the one question, 50C is concerned. Now according to him that all right, when you 50C is concerned that it is when I sell it, I think they say that the other person pays the tax on that and stamp duty value. That person may not go in appeal, like builder, he may not go in appeal. Then what will be consequence in his assessment is concerned? Well, the answer is very simple. Earlier tribunal used to take the stand, unless you take objection at the time of assessment,
then they will not refer to the valuation. Now very recently, Chennai High Court, the Madras High Court taken the stand, though you have not taken objection before the assessing officer, if you take objection at the time of assessment or in the appeal, and the officer concerned not bound by the stamp valuation, then they have to refer to the valuation cell, and once the valuation cell determined, that is binding on the AO, not to the SSC. Suppose valuation cell defined X amount, it will binding on the AO, not to the SSC, and ultimately SSC can challenge, and the appellate authority once again determine that whether the value is correct or not. So that is what we are having the privilege now, because of the judgment was concerned.
Sir, thank you. We would like to, because we are now.
Okay, one minute. Lastly, I will tell you, because after seeing all these questions, there could be number of, what I thought, that at least 2015 is concerned, we can request all these legal luminaries to contribute like question answer, we can come out publication on this, real estate, asking all of them to end stamp duty, especially in that we are trying to contact stamp authorities, stamp people, like Bombay we know the how much stamp, but Rajasthan we don't know. Initially we tried to get, we didn't get from the all over India. If we are able to compile all over India like stamp on this, like VAT and other thing, we can really great service to the tax professionals, and then if we can come out, let's next year question answers on this, service tax, accounting and everything, that will be great service to the profession. Thank you very
Definitely,
much.
sir, a very good suggestion, and I would request you to put the onus on our own and our leader from Jaipur, Shri Sunil Goyal Sahab, for this, and he can make everything possible for us for this book. And with this, my heartiest vote of thanks to all the legal luminaries and Shri Ashok Agarwal ji, and thank you to all the delegates. We will continue with the second session of the pre-lunch session, talk by Shri Govind Raju on the management aspect, a very different perspective, and we would be continuing with the session without any break. With this, we break the session, sir.
To make in India by making in India. And we sincerely thanks to all delegates and guests who have joined us on dais. With that, we'll move on to our next session. The motivation session for the day, one of my favorite topic, the law of attraction. The session will be taken by a very renowned trainer on motivational theme, and he is none other than Govind Babuji with us today. So I would request you just to be seated, and we'll shortly begin with the session on law of attraction. Thank you.